want to, but I'm gonna try. When she left me, yeah, died a little bit inside. You know, maybe things are gonna be alright. Cause I just wanna see the light.
It's Tier
Yeah, I just
2
wanna see the
showtime!
light.
And they're on in a race time. Fernando, which way to go, left or right? It's all eyes on the Ferrari. Stylo has done the impossible. This is the move. This is the moment. And that puts in Rapture on the podium. But it's this man who comes home victorious. It's Red Bull and Drix who win. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the opening round here of Moose Racing League Season 9. Holy smoke-a-rolly, we're here, we made it, we're back for another round here with Tier 1 Racing, and I am joined by an amazing co-commentator this night. I'm so excited. This will be our new duo for the entire season. It's going to be the best of the rest. But before we get into our amazing team, let's talk about this track. We are here at Qatar. The one of the newest tracks obviously on the calendar, and it's usually a home for some pretty insane racing, as we saw here in real life, as we've seen throughout the entire day, throughout all of our tiers, and once again we'll see here in Moose Racing League's Tier 1. And as I was talking about my amazing co-commentator, let's say hello to our very good friend, Mr. Andy Ragequit. Ragequit, how are you, buddy?
I am so excited. I've had a great day so far watching all the other tiers, but we get to watch the elite of the elite, racing around one of these new tracks. I can't wait, Punjew.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's going to be absolutely bonkers. I know that this tier always delivers, and, this is definitely the closest that we've ever had for Tier 1, so it's going to be silly. I'm already laughing just thinking about how ridiculous this is going to be, honestly, for an opening round. We've got some pretty crazy opening rounds here. I can remember Singapore 2 seasons ago is a really good example of a pretty insane opening round with that little 2-lap shootout. You remember that one, Andy? That was a good time?
Yeah, for sure, man. These opening... This is where people are trying to stamp their authority early doors, and it just makes for an exciting start to the season.
Always. Yeah, always. And those people that are stamping for excitement, obviously, are stamping for their name to make sure they're known for the rest of the season. Of course, we've got a few. You mentioned that there were some that you're really looking for this season. Who are those that you've really got your eye on?
Well, I think if I look at the long-awaited return of Marcus Libbs in that McLaren, obviously that you've paid very close attention to and managed to snag in round 7 or 8.
Yeah, silly.
That's like the Johnny Football of the draft.
It was unbelievable.
and I'm looking forward to seeing some of these rookies as well. In particular, Boss Cookie.
Yes.
And who's the other guy I have my eye on? I think it was
our Wolfer looks
Wolfer. Wolfer, yeah, Wolfer. Too Trappy, he's a
new one.
He's a rookie as well, isn't he?
Yeah, Trappy's a new one, yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, 25% of the Tier 1 grid are rookies this season. 5 of the 20 drivers are rookies. So it's a pretty solid amount of the grid is going to be all rookies. So that's something to pay attention to. Of course, we can talk about these drivers all we want, but I say let's go ahead and take a look at this track, as we've got an insane track for all these guys to go up against. 16 turns across 5.38 kilometers, or 3.343 miles for those of you guys that use proper measurement terms. US joke right there. This track here of Qatar has a little bit of elevation change, but it's sneaky. You can't really feel it too much while you're on it. The majority of the elevation change is actually down the start-finish straight, going downhill, which is why you really can't feel it too much. It's pretty hard to feel downhills if it's so slight. Obviously, from turn 1 all the way up until turn 16, it's a gradual, very gradual increase, and then downhill. That's kind of how it works. So that's what makes it pretty fun. With one DRS zone, pretty much the main overtaking zone. There will be more, though. I know these drivers, they find a way to overtake in silly spots. But You know, we have yet to see exactly what those spots are going to be for them. I'm excited for it. We've got a couple people in chat. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us here tonight for the opening round. Somebody said, what do we think about an over-under for 1.5 safety cars? I'm going to take the under tonight. I'm going to say less than 2 safety cars. Andy, what do you think? Do you think we're going to have 2 or more?
I'm taking over.
Oh, okay.
I'm taking, from what I've seen so far this evening, I'm going to take the over. I think we've had over 1.5 safety cars in each of the tiers so far.
Okay.
Generally one late on. Late safety cars are a killer. They are terminal on this track.
That is facts. Yeah, and those people that, you know, might cause safety cars, it could be some of the rookies, it could be some of the vets. Some of the vets that I'm actually paying attention to that I wanted to mention. Obviously, we've already talked about Marcus Libbs, technically a vet, but I'm really looking at the Williams pair. Giants fan and Double A's. I've heard a lot about Double A's specifically going into this season as to the level of practice and preparation he's been putting on for the season. So I fully expect him to be on form, probably better than he's ever been. And I'm excited to see exactly what that looks like, of course, going into tonight's racing. So how about we stop the chatter and take a look at some of this action? What do you think?
I think it's a great time to do that. We've got our first time on the board. It's Sketchy Bull. And what's this for a first time up on the board? Sketchy Bull in that Mercedes, a 21 flat.
That's an unbelievable banker. If that's what we have to look forward to, this is going to get crazy. Oh, just kidding.
Oh.
How is Bops in the 20s already? Okay, we've been... This is silly, dude. I've watched Bops, his evolution as a driver over the last few seasons. This is crazy to think. Homie came in tier 3, you know, obviously pretty much destroying it for sure. But he definitely had to work for it sometimes. Tier 2, he had to work a little bit. Then goes to tier 1, and he just turns into a separate animal. He's nuts.
Yeah, well, I took Bops, I think, as first pick as team principal when I think I must have been back in season 7.
Yes.
Season 6, maybe.
Yep. Hey, and there's a rookie right there. Technically a reserve, actually filling in for Scornsy, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, having some internet issues. MV1W, you can tell he's definitely a big Lewis Hamilton fan. Put down 20.50, but DeFi shows him how it's done with the 20.4. What are we thinking for pole times tonight, Andy? I'm thinking we're going to see a 20.0 is what I'm going to guess.
I was going to say 20.2, 20.1, but considering we've already got 8 drivers in the 20s already, I'm going to stick my neck out. I'm going to say somebody is going to sneak into the 19s.
No. I've only heard I've only heard of one person doing that on the grid, and we obviously know who that is. Do you think they're going to be able to pull it off in a qualifying session though versus, you know, in the time trial? It's very different environments. Very different
environment as well, but we've not even got any track evolution on yet, and we're at 20.4.
That's a good point. We're just these bankers, dude. These bankers are literally more than a second better, some of them, than like my average time trial. So this is silliness, and this is a really good thing to, you know, to see as to what's come. We do have one driver out there right now on a out lap, so let's go ahead and give him some love. It's Mr. Dougie Falcons. Let's talk him through a lap right here. Comes across turn 1 early on the power, so that way he can get really, you know, strong through turn 1. Obviously, tight line through turn 2, avoids those inside curbs, tries to use the maximum amount of that curb on the outside. Luckily enough, these curbs in the game are nowhere near as deadly as they are in real life, because if he was doing this in real life, those tires would already be obliterated with how much he's using these curbs. But of course, he's getting just over it exactly perfectly. Tight turn right here into the hairpin in the middle of the track. I love that corner. It's all about your exit, honestly, and how you can get back on the power. It's difficult, but if you can nail it, it's an opportunity for you to make an overtake on the way out of it. Of course, coming into one of those faster sections right here in the middle of Sector 2. Looks pretty planted right here, does Dougie Falcons. He set himself up well for this fast left-hander that requires a good exit. Easy to spin there if you get a little bit too hard on the power, so that's pretty impressive right there. Now it's 3 flat-out right-handers. If you nail them right, they're flat out. And so far, it looks like Dougie Falcons has gone for that route. Yep, he's gone flat out. He's probably running decently high out downforce. Slight blip of a downshift right there, using all the exit curve he did. And now down to 4th for this corner. Early power. And flies on the way out into his, across the start-finish line. Let's see what he's got right here. Puts himself at a pretty solid, where's he got? That's a 121.0. That's only good enough for 12th. That's unbelievable. Wow. Right now, we've already got crazy gaps. Take a look at some of those gaps right there. Which one sticks out to you? There's one that sticks out to me.
Which one sticks out? What, sorry?
Which of those gaps that you see on the timetable already sticks out to you? There's one that sticks out to me.
Well, the gap at the minute with 100th or 18 thousandths, if you like, between first and second.
Yep.
16 thousandths between Giants fan and Xylo.
I know.
And he's only 11 thousandths in front of Minico. It's crazy close.
Yep.
6 thousandths between Dougie Falcon and Don't Blink.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking at. It's crazy, dude. I don't get it, man. So far, Marcus Libs actually has yet to even leave the pits. It looks like he might be going out right now. Let's see if that is him, indeed. Indeed, it is him. He's out on his outlap right now. We'll go ahead and give him some love when he goes through. Also, thank you so much to Pogs for the $5 super chat. He says, I've said this before, but I'm genuinely more excited to see this race than a real F1 race. That is a very sweet thing to say, and I hope that all the Tier 1 drivers hear that, because that's incredible. We really appreciate that. And obviously all the drivers do too. Snowman says, I'm out of my depth. And as of right now, he's proving himself right with a 21.7. That doesn't look too good, now does it? It's going to be hard to recover from. Andy, when you're looking at these drivers that are slightly on the bottom of the timetables, really just Stig and Snowman because everybody else is 21-0 or better, what are you thinking about them? What do you think their strategy is going to be going forward for this race?
I think knowing Yellow Snowman, I think he's just going to be staying out of trouble.
Yep.
Looking for consistency. He's incredible when it comes to not picking up penalties as well, both on track in terms of incidents and, of course, in terms of the track limits. That's one of the things I love about Yellow Snowman is his consistency.
That's a very good point. Yeah, he does seem to have the consistency like nobody else. Also, thank you so much, Chosen Toby, for a $10 super chat. Really appreciate that. Says he wants to one-up Pogs. Well, you've done a good job with that one, that's for sure. You've one-upped him hardcore. Let's go ahead and give you guys all the data that you want. Get our... There we go. That's proper. There we go. Now we got telemetry and everything.
Interesting to see the Stig as well. You know, obviously last year's Tier 2 champion in what was a really close Ford Championship.
Yes.
Yeah. He looks a little bit off the pace early doors, but we know, that looks like a McLaren blocking an AlphaTauri of Boss Cookie.
Hopefully Boss Cookie,
as Boss Cookie comes onto the straight.
He was on a lap too. Oh, no. Yeah, I don't think he noticed. Right, that might bode well or bode poorly for Marcus Libs, but let's see if he can recover and not make a mistake like that through his lap.
Yeah, Boss Cookie goes 6 past his 20.6.
Yeah, that's a good lap. It's a really good lap right there. Now he's staying in front of Marcus Libs. Say Boss Cookie might need to get out of the way pretty soon too. There he goes. He gets out of the way. Marcus Libs flies through turns 1, 2, and 3 now, and he's flying down into the double right-hander. 2 90-degree corners that don't really feel like 90-degree corners because you can go so quick through them. With this crazy amount of downforce, of course, now you're still on the uphill, and that's part of the reason why you can actually go so fast. Tight turn to the hairpin, but gets a little bit loose on the rear end. Not quite as ideal as I think he'd like. He does have an AlphaTauri still right behind him as well, who's kind of breathing down his neck through a qualifying session. Could be Boss Cookie, so I think it is. He actually just pulls off right there. And Marcus Libs now cruising through Sector 2. Looks pretty speedy right here. Smooth application right there of the brakes and the throttle for his banker. He's looking like he only wants to set 2 laps tonight. Doesn't want to go and try for 3, so let's see what he's got here through the 3rd sector. Goes purple through Sector 2. Are we surprised? Not even slightly. Full flat-out commitment right there through the final right-hander. And tiny blip down, just perfect line through the second. How does he do that? Perfect line through the second last corner. And he dives in for the final corner. Again, down to 4th like everybody else. Early on the power, up to 5th. Uses all the curbing he possibly can. He's going to go across the line. I'm saying a 20.8 right here. It didn't look like as ideal as I think he's got in him. Marcus Libs, 20.56, 597. Still insane. That's unbelievable. And right now, D5
it might have been hampered as well. Might have been hampered by Boss Cookie early doors in that lap through Sector 1.
Yep, I think they accidentally did each other dirty, honestly, on that one. However, take a look at Master Turtle and Giants fan. Identical times to the 1000th right now.
Wow.
This is the tier where you see it. I said, by the way, that I wrote this down. Hold on, let me pull up my notes for this one. I made a prediction. Let's see. What did I say? I said expect 7/10 separating P1 to P16 was my guess.
7/10, yeah.
Uh-huh. And right now it's 6/10.
Yeah.
So
that's incredible.
You know, I think that is going to be I think that's going to be the mark. I'm excited to see if that ends up being proved right or wrong. Right now we've got 2 people on outlap, Snaky and Yellow Snowman. So let's go ahead and give them some love.
Bob's about to cross the line.
No, Bob's is. Let's see what he's got. Oh, moves up just
Proves.
a little bit. 1 position.
Takes a 10th off his time.
Yep. That's 1 position. That's good enough. You know, that'll do. He's sitting in 5th right now. The McLaren's right now sitting in 7th and 9th. Just got split up by double A's. Puts himself through 8th right there. with a 120.5063, 1,000ths off of MV1. This is starting to feel very esports, isn't it, Andy? This is a little tight. This is these gaps.
Yeah, when it gets tight like this, this is when you know you're watching the best we've got.
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, the gaps across the entire day though have been, I think, the shortest across all of Moose Racing League that we've ever had. We had one super standout in Tier 5 with Kamau. Tier 4, did we have a big standout? I don't remember a big one. Yeah.
I don't know. I missed the start of Tier 4.
Yeah, I don't remember a big standout on Tier 4. Tier 3, I believe, Shrimpy's won it by a relatively decent margin. I think he's the only one to get into the 20s, 20.9. But the next guy back was a 21.2.
I think Zohan got pole.
Yeah, probably. But the question is by what margin? Like what I'm linking at is like these margins for Moose Racing League. There's traditionally been like one or two people that are a bit of a standout within their tier. But as of right now, we haven't seen that.
1/10 covers P1 to P8 right now.
Just ridiculous, dude.
1/10.
That's so silly. That is literally esports type of closeness.
Yeah.
That's about as that's crazy. So, you know, the fact that we've attracted this level of talent, I gotta say thank you to all of our drivers as well for coming in here and spending their Sundays with us, because this is pretty nuts. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, I think the Tier 6 pole time was a 122 flat, to give you an idea. That's how tight our grids are these days. They've really tightened up. Miniko over here, he's actually saying he's confused why he's here, even though he's sitting in 6th, which is a pretty solid quality time if you ask me. That's pretty good.
Snakey's just dived into the pits. He was setting a reasonable. He was 53.7 through 2 sectors there, and he's dived into the pits. So I'm confused by that.
He maybe made a mistake, or he wants to try one more on fresh ones. I don't see him invalidate. So, yeah, I think he might just try one more on fresh ones right there. Give it one more shot. Right now, all these drivers, they have just over 3 minutes left of this session. 3 minutes and 3 seconds to be exact. And that means they're all going to be going out pretty much at the same time. We see just 3 people out on track right now. This is the lull before it gets wild. I'm scared to see 19 drivers effectively who will all be out basically at the same time. And if WB Trappy, hold on a second. Take a look at WP2 Trappy. Look where he's at on track right now. If he doesn't hurry it up, he's going to get stuck in crazy amounts of traffic on this lap.
He really is.
Oh.
You're about to see 6 or 7 little colored dots move off that little line.
All of them are moving. Trappy's in a rough spot. I don't know about this, man. This looks a little scary for him. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he needs to. Here they come. Here they come. They're filing out right now.
Oh my gosh.
He's going to have a problem at turn 1.
Oh my gosh. And right now he's in a bad spot too. He's in a 16th at 20.957. He needs to have a good one. He's going to have a lot of them finding himself at turn 1. Yep. Look at them all coming out of the pit exit right there. They're barely going to be in front of him through turn 1. But as soon as they get to turn 2, oh, just kidding. Look at this. He has to navigate through that. What? He already passes 3 cars on his way to turn 1. He is going to be in traffic city. Let's go ahead and watch him weave through LA traffic. I don't know if we're in the Middle East. I think we're down on the West Coast here of the United States, because this is a ton of traffic he's got to navigate. I'm going to see that. So far, it looks like everyone's getting out of their way, you know, nice and neat and pretty tidy. He's got his teammate coming up to him. Teammate gets out of the way too, stays on the inside so he can dive sweet and tight through the hairpin. Gets a pretty solid exit out of it too. It looks like he might be up on his time. We're going to go ahead and know as soon as he comes across the sector marker pretty soon. He actually already went through the sector 2 marker. I totally missed it. So yes, Trappy does look good though. He does look good right now. Oh, he makes a mistake. He invalidates Trappy. He is done with qualifying here. The best he will have is a 20.9. And as of right now, that's still only half a second off of first place, which is just dumb. So let's go ahead and take a look at our defending champion, Mr. Giants Van. He's actually back half of his outlap. Let's take a look instead at our new hype man, Mr. Marcus Libbs. He will be the first one, besides maybe 2 more people, to set the final lap of the session. And Marcus Libbs comes down to turn 1, looking pretty solid. Tight entry there for sure, but a really good exit. Gets maximum power, all the track he possibly can. Look at how he uses every single inch of available real estate to get the most out of this car and the maximum amounts of seconds shaved off based on just positioning alone. Very smooth inputs through the whole first sector so far. Pretty solid in the exit right there. I think he probably had a little bit more to give, but he's already 1.5 tenths up. Excuse me. That puts him at a 20.45 as of right now. Would be shooting for 4th place at this current pace. That's how tight it is. He can go from 9th to 4th with just a 10.5.
DeFi is up 800ths.
Uh-oh.
In Sector 1.
So DeFi sitting on provisional. He looks good as well. He's
That's
just
a
behind
slower.
Marcus Libs. Yeah, a little bit slower. You're right. We'll see what Marcus Libs got as he comes around Sector 2 marker, 2.5 tenths up. As of right now, Marcus Libs is on pace for pole, but can he nail it through the final sector? He needs to have just a couple more corners. Great lap from MV1 with a 120.3. Marcus Libs is going to need to match that or better to get that pole position for himself tonight. Once he got here in the McLaren, deep dive into the final corner. He looks good. Really good exit right there. He is flying, and he's going to come across the line very soon. What does he grab himself? He gets himself a 120.311 beat out by his reserve teammate DeFi. What's he got right now was provisional pole. Double A's cannot match that pace. DeFi, is he on it? He has it right now. That's 120.188. That's incredible. Giants fan has a lot to answer for, and he's stuck in traffic. He's literally stuck behind somebody.
Master Turtle's also half a tenth up.
Oh my gosh.
About to come around the final turn.
They're all coming across that final little bit. We're going to watch Master Turtle and Giants fan. They're currently sitting at the front. They're even Stevens on pace right now, sitting literally dead even. Master Turtle, will he improve? He does, but not enough to take pole. What about Giants fan? He does as well, but just enough to beat Master Turtle. And that is their qualifying order done. And Dustin Minico finds a way to find the barrier, or no, he actually retired in pits, excuse me. But he is done with it. Everybody is done with qualifying, with DeFi grabbing the first pole of the season. Holy smokes. I'm going to call out somebody right now. Yellow Snowman said something about DeFi, and he took it personally because he said DeFi was even more of an incomplete horse drawing like Chili Willy. Do you remember this during the draft?
I do. He's a quarter horse.
He's a
Chili was
quarter
only
horse.
half a horse.
And I am seeing full horse right there. That's absolutely insane with 120.188, an incredible lap. Did not quite get to that 120.0, but it sounds like I was right about 6 tenths. 120.188 gets pole. And what about 16th? It's a 120.877, 0.689 seconds between 1st and 16th, with the tightest gaps obviously being at the top. We got MV1 in 2nd, Marcus Libs in 3rd, Giants fan in 4th, Turtle in 5th, Double A 6th, Bob 7th, Wolf for 8th, Magic Forehead in 9th, and Estenbot rounding out the top 10. Then Minico, Dougie, Blink, Boss Cookie, and the rest, but I didn't get a chance to see. Sounds like Dope Blink's game crashed, so he's going to need an invite from his teammate. Make sure his teammate knows.
Yeah, Bob's let the teammate know.
That's
Because he's not on Xbox.
yeah, that is absolutely absurd, that level of pace right there, dude.
Man, honestly, the not just the level of pace that's got the pole. There was a 1/10 gap, which I wasn't expecting, a 10th gap between 1st and 2nd on that front row. But the two McLarens to put in such great times as well and not pick up pole position, they must be, they'll be happy, yet they'll be a little bit disappointed with not picking up a front row.
For sure, yeah. 11 hundredths of a second separates the two of them, so they're right on each other big time. We'll see, how they, come out during the race itself, but as of right now, they are definitely two to watch big time for this session. Testero says, time to see who's a time trial merchant. It is time to see that, Testero, so that's absolutely true. And I'm guessing there'll be a few of them that are. Yellow Snowman's comment about the quarter drawn horse, as of right now, is looking pretty silly, but a race is a race, and it's very different than a qualifying session, so you never know what can happen. But as of right now, it's looking pretty good for DeFi, putting himself on pole position for the first race of the season. If I recall correctly, DeFi has yet to get a race win here at Moose Racing League as well. Am I correct?
Yeah, I've not seen him win a race.
Yeah, I don't believe he got one last season. We had 8 different race winners last season, and none of them were DeFi. So
that tells you something about this tier as well. To have 8 different race winners,
we had the most race winners out of any tier. It was unbelievable. For the first 8 races, literally a different race winner every single week, and then the final 2 races got 2 repeats, Drix and Giants fan. So, it was absolutely absurd. That whole season, last season, it was about as crazy as it could get for 10 races straight. I know this one's going to be equally wild. It looks like the drivers are taking their sweet time to get their setups on and get their strategies right, which is good. They deserve to take the time that they need. This is actually, a lot of them don't take the proper amount of time, so I'm glad they're taking time. I'm curious, Andy. Do we think we see carnage into turn 1, or do we think we see these drivers actually make it through all right?
I think of all the tracks, I think this turn 1 enables you to actually get through unscathed.
Yeah.
A little bit more concerned about the slow left-hander, which is what, turn 5, I think.
Oh, the hairpin?
That's the one that, yeah, the little hairpin. That's the one that
It's-
seems to cause a little bit. People late on the brakes, not realizing it's such a slow corner. Xylo's left the session.
Rough. Yep. And that's perfect
so,
timing.
yeah,
We've got 2 lights, 3, 4, 5 lights are on. It looks like Xylo disconnected. He's going to miss this race start. We are off here in Qatar, and we've got a good start from DeFi. MV1W right behind, but we've got the McLaren of Marcus Libs down in 19th. Looks like he got crazy grid penalties. Just kidding. My overlay is just broken. This is incredible. We got MV1 leading the race with DeFi sitting in second. Hard battle between the two of them through turn 1, 2. But it looks like MV1 might be able to stick it in front. He does just barely. Just kidding. Now that's DeFi back in the lead. And MV1 has to relegate and stay behind. It's so tight. Master Turtle down to 3rd. And we got Double A's in 4th. Marcus Libs actually there in 5th. But Bob's in 6th. Wolfer in 7th. Esteban 8th. Dougie Falcons in 9th. And Minico actually in 11th, excuse me. Now the overlays has fixed themselves. Okay, cool. Our grid is correct now. So far, you were right. Everybody found a way to make it through relatively clean. Nothing crazy. There's a little bit of a movement right ahead. Looks like Esteban looking for an inside move on our Wolfer. Thinks he may have gotten it. He did. As you can see from this corner, or from this view, our Wolfer looking really scary slow, actually. It looks like he's pretty uncomfortable. And Minico sizing up a potential double move, but doesn't find it as the Alpine and the Alfa Romeo don't make contact or any sort of trouble. Did you see anything on that start that looked pretty concerning, or was it all pretty kosher?
It looks like Don't Blink and Xylo got caught up in something. They've both dropped 5 positions each. Magical 4 heads down 4, whereas the guys Snaky, Trappy, Stig, and Yellow Snowmen are all up multiple positions.
Oof.
So there are big gaps. You already see between Magical 4 and Boss Cookie, there's already 2-second gap with another 4 seconds then back to Stig.
That's a good point. Yep. Now a little bit down the line, I think I just saw
in the pits.
Yeah, there is some cars in the pits. I think I saw a bit of a send. Ooh, that's Dougie Falcons actually getting on the outside of the Alfa Romeo of Minico. Great move from Dougie Falcons to find some weakness there. People want to go ahead and take a look at the tires. Let's go ahead and do that. Also, those of you guys that are in chat that are asking for invites, please go ahead and read next time. Actually, you're going to need to get invites from your teammates because we don't want to go ahead and break up the broadcast. Now, we've got these drivers all kind of starting to snake up and get into a line. They're starting to do some train racing. Not a whole ton of crazy action as of right now. They're starting to settle in, which I think is probably smart. Everybody on hards except for 4 drivers, Estimba, Boss Cookie, Sketchybull, and WP Trappy. Unfortunate for Trappy and Sketchybull both having, so far down the grid from that start. I think they probably got the worst affected, it looks like, huh?
Yeah,
maybe lost
looking that
wings?
way. Yeah, there was only one car that got the wing. It was the Ferrari.
Oh. Yep, so Trappy. Maybe Sketchable had to pit, and he was supposed to get a wing, but it ended up not giving it to him. That could be the problem as well.
Yeah, for sure.
That could be it. Now we go ahead and take a look back at the front. MV1 and DeFi having a tasty little battle at the top, of course. It looks like DeFi, though, is able to pull out a decent amount of pace over MV1. So, those two actually are pacing out Giants fan pretty significantly. So, something to pay attention to. DeFi already at a 24.6 in race trim. And MV1 looking like he's closing in pretty quickly, finding weaknesses in DeFi here and there. It looks like his main weakness maybe is turn 1. However, big mistake right there from MV1 coming through turn 2. Got the rear end just a little bit loose. Lost about a 10th. Has to find a way to recover that. But they're already 7/10 ahead of the Williams of Giants fan. Excuse me? How? This is unbelievable. These guys are crazy.
Wow.
Giants fans got to have some work to do. But as of right now, we've got a DRS train that goes from 1st down to 13th. At this current moment.
Snaky's making good progress. Snaky's now up 5 positions up into P11. He's just taken P11 from Minico.
That's correct. Snaky is snaking, one could say.
Snaky.
Snaking. He does look pretty confident here, I will say. And those are the drivers that are on the hard tires right now are banking on a later safety car or no safety car at all, which I think was the right play in my opinion. I bet for that 1 or less safety car here because it seems to be a track that, really isn't going to cause out too many issues.
Gone.
Ooh. This car's DNF.
This car's DNF, but he's still in it.
Yeah.
He's probably rejoined, and it's DNF'd him.
Yep, I've seen that happen before. It's one of the worst glitches in the world. Ah, man, that is tough. Xylo's race was over before it started. He had a pretty solid qualifying session, and then just for it to end that way is rough, man. He's going to be down the car. Will probably pull himself into the pits and call it a day. However, it does look like it's like hauling. I'm curious what's happening with it. Hold on a second.
Yeah, it's just gone out in sector 2.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, cool. Though the Aston Martin that's hauling is Yellow Snowman. He's keeping up with Don't Blink and Steak. So so far he's doing a pretty good job right there. There's only 3 drivers that have held position. It's DeFi, MV1, and Boss Cookie. That's it. Everybody else has gone up or gone down. Of course, Marcus Lib's losing 3, and the 3 in front of him have all gained 1 because of it. Estenbaugh's also found his way up 3 positions, starting in 10th, now in 7th. It's a pretty solid start for him. Do we see any of these drivers start making, pretty crazy plays when it comes to the bold strategies, or do you think there's really no bold strategies to go for this?
I'm really surprised that we've got that many drivers on the hard tire. There was certainly much more of a mix across the lower tiers. Maybe that says a little bit more about the experience we've got here in Tier 1.
Yes.
Estenbaugh, Boss Cookie, and Trappy. Obviously, Trappy's had to go into the pits, so he would have been on the hard tires to start off with anyway. Maybe Estenbaugh, maybe the Red Bull, as Boss Cookie picks up the first time penalty of the day, 3 seconds.
There it is.
For track limits.
Yeah, we knew they were coming.
Maybe Estenbaugh.
So?
I mean, he's close. Maybe, how many positions has he made up? He's made up 3 positions so far, so I'm sure he's happy with that. But he does have box for company.
Hold on a second. DeFi and MV1 having a fight right here going through turn 1 and 2. They had to actually switch back it, and DeFi found his way back through. Oh, wow, DeFi, great defense right there. MV1 tried to get him going into turn 1, but he decided to, give him a little bit of extra room on the outside. It allowed him to get back for a switchback. And he got the position back through a nice little exchange through turns 1 and 2. And that's MV1 making the same rear lockup mistake. I think he might need to think about moving that brake bias up a click as he is starting to lose that rear end quite a bit. And that fighting is just letting Giants fan catch back up.
Yeah, I'm liking the fact that we've got 13 drivers within 1 second of each other here.
Unbelievable.
I know it's going to be the DRS terrain conundrum, but I think that's going to make people think a little bit more about what their strategy is.
Yes, I 100% agree. Now, one thing that I also want to mention, because of the fact that MV1 made that mistake right there, it's lost him a decent amount of time. He's now 6/10 away from DeFi, but Giants fan is lurking just 2/10 out from MV1. So now MV1 has to get ready to potentially get on the defensive coming out of this final corner, as the 3 drivers behind him are all within 2/10 of each other. And it's a big late break right there from Giants fan, putting extra pressure on MV1. He looks sketchy right now. Looks like he's definitely lost a little bit of that momentum. And DeFi at this current moment, without some miraculous extra straight line pace, which, look at that, everyone just found it. I thought it was going to be, he was gone, but now I'm eating my words.
That's in the setup, or is it in the battery? That's in battery.
I think it was in battery,
50% battery.
Yeah, I think so. Now, speaking of somebody who's actually, maybe not having the best race right here, Marcus Lib's down 4 positions after an incredible qualifying, and we've got Estenbaugh just making up a position on him into turn 1. So Estenbaugh playing his energy cards right and playing his overtaking cards very well. Marcus Lib's deep dive on the brakes into the hairpin. Back up on the power. Here he goes.
Yeah, he is down at 28%.
Yep.
Power is Estenbaugh really trying to get the most out of those medium tires.
Yeah, when you look at
some advantage.
Yeah, when you look at this from an aerial view like that, it's crazy to see just how tight these guys actually are. It blows my mind how they can keep it so tight and have all this confidence in each other. Like, that's what's so impressive to me, is that they just don't really seem like they're worried about mistakes from other drivers. I think that's one of the biggest things that separates Tiers 1 through the rest of them, is they just feel that ability to really ride the edge. This track is also a track where you have to be on the edge, like crazy, to be equal pace, You have to be at the maximum capacity of what you feel like your car will allow, and then some at certain moments. I
agree, because you're on the throttle 80% of the time throughout this lap. You're on the throttle. We do tend to see, without the safety car, as there's moves from Estenbaugh trying to make a move on double A's.
Double A's covered it off well. I was wondering why he dove to the inside. I was on his POV. I didn't see Estenbaugh lurking in the mirror.
So we've seen fuel problems on this track. When there's no safety cars, people who don't overfuel do tend to struggle and have to conserve fuel in the later stages of the race. So we'll be interesting to see, if there are no safety cars, who is going to be. And as Estenbaugh loses a little bit of grip there, but he's still up on trying to look for a move onto the outside of Double A's, who holds him off yet again.
Yeah, and Bob's actually got quite opportunistic. He found his way past Marcus Libs. So Bob's now sits in 7th back where he qualified after losing a bunch of positions on the start. Great job for him. He's finding ways to. Ooh, it's a little bit squirrely on the exit. He's putting pressure on that loud pedal for sure. He's giving it everything he's got, and they're running into Sector 3 right here, the triple right-handers. For all flat out if you know how to take them. One thing that's really interesting to notice, I don't know if you've noticed this, Andy, but in this triple right-hander, it's actually faster for you to be within about 2-3 tenths. Mark is trying to make a fake on the fake dive to the inside for the pits. Nobody bought it. It's actually faster for you to be behind somebody, which is crazy, than it is for you to be in front. And that's just the thing with this game. I don't really understand why. Oh, there's an overtake.
Yeah, then you've got to have the confidence of the guy in front of you.
Yep. Big time.
Not to make the mistake. Oh, as Marcus goes sideways through that.
He's looking like
he's got one of the debutants. He's got Wolfer for company.
Ooh, he wants to prove himself for sure. Yeah, he's got to be a little bit careful of the guys behind him. Now, somebody who also has to be careful about the guy behind him is DeFi, because MV1 has been nothing but pressure this whole race. And it looks like as he comes to that hairpin right there, he's starting to figure out the braking problem that he was having to that corner. Esteban, Master Turtle actually losing a position. Esteban making up one, potentially they're side-by-side, going through that tight right-hander. It's going to be really tight. Oh, they make a little bit of contact. No wings gone, but it is just a little bit of contact. And so far, it looks like Esteban's still alongside. You can barely see it. There he is right there, and it's going to be the Mercedes still holding the lead. They're side-by-side through this entire sector, but there goes the Red Bull on the outside. That's Esteban. Grabs a position after a long battle. Master Turtle loses 2 positions for his trouble as Box finds his way through with the better speed. Now it's a switchback underneath from Master Turtle. They have insane amounts of faith with each other. And Bob's barely sticks it through. Very confident right there. And there it goes. Marcus lives for an inside line. Almost collects the Mercedes, but they still somehow live. How are they doing this? That is
they are so close
on the margins. Absolutely so close. That is some of the tightest margins I've ever seen. Have you seen something like that in any of our other tiers before?
I've never seen anything like that in any other tier. To have 4 drivers, not just close, but close to contact, no contact whatsoever, and still come out the other side all smiling.
It's incredible. Yeah. There goes Marcus Libs making a pass on that Mercedes. That was giving him a lot of trouble. But the Mercedes wants to take the outside line. That's Master Turtle. Gives him the outside line just enough. Marcus Libs needs to overpower it. There he does. He gets a little bit of ERS to get the gap that he needed to get out of that battle. But now he's 6 tenths away. Somehow, also, hold on a second. How did they just have that crazy battle, but they didn't lose DRS? I don't get that, dude. That's incredible. There's a yellow flag. Oh, no!
Yellow flag,
double
yellow
A's.
flag.
Double A's. He's missing an entire wing. That's a full safety car. And I'm not sure.
5-second penalty.
Yes.
For a collision with Bops.
Oh, no. I'm not sure what caused that.
Safety car then.
I came out of nowhere, and there was just double A's in the middle of the track with a broken front wing. Double A's, after having an absolutely electric start to this race, is now down in 9th, and will have to go in for a wing change. All these other drivers on hards have to make a tough decision. Do they pit, or do they stay out? What would you do right now, Andy? What would you do?
I would stay out. I'm not sure you can take those medium tires 20 laps.
I just did. I pit on lap.
Yeah,
10.
It's whether or not these guys are going to have those 2 safety cars that are going to help them out with that.
That's correct. MV1 opts to stay out. He opts for your strategy. Master Turtle also stays out. Snaky goes in, though. The one who made out like a bandit here is Estenbach, because a lot of people are going to pit right here, right? They're going to try their best to keep to take those mediums long. Estenbach started on mediums. He's going to get on hards. He'll be good for the rest of the race, for sure, without a doubt. Estenbach made out like a bandit. Well, the rest of these guys have to find a way to gap out on mediums.
Yeah, he absolutely had to. I think he's done a great job on those mediums.
Yeah.
Made up plenty of positions.
Yep, nice. It's in 5th.
And now with the now on the hard tires, you've got MV1 and Master Turtle. Yellow Snowman stayed out. So those are your 3 guys on the hards who've stayed out. Everybody else has come in. Don't blink. He's come in as well. He's thrown some mediums on too. Sketchy. Now he's got 7-lap-old hard tires on. Whether or not he can take those, I know he's lingering at the back of the pack.
It's a free pit stop. He should go in. He's far enough ahead to the point he's not going to get lapped as well, so he should absolutely go in and take it while he can. However, what I'm curious about, look at that top 3, all of them on the old hards, but then below that, it's fresh mediums. DeFi, Giants fan, do we see them hard charging through those front 3? Do you think they're going to get held up?
Well, I think the whoever gets themselves through those three will be in grade A position.
Yes.
Not everybody's going to get through.
Yeah.
Through not just the safety car restart turns 1 and 2, but the first lap. I would be surprised to see more than 3 drivers get through.
That's true. And also, one thing I do want to mention: this safety car allows people an opportunity to regain some fuel. So if they went low on fuel, this is the spot where they can get it. I'm seeing MV1. He says, "Man, I can't stop rear locking into the hairpin." Like I said, he needs a click or two up on the brake bias. If he's sitting at 55, quick it to 56, and that'll stop it immediately. These drivers that are relying on their skill alone to get through need to use the car a little bit sometimes, and maybe use that brake bias advantage.
Just catching up with chat very quickly.
You see that? Yeah, let's know,
Tier 2 isn't much of a retirement home.
Yeah.
For gamers, says Pogs. And yeah, stop the count. Look, Mom, I made it. There's a podium spot right now. Call the race, everybody. Call the race. Yellow Snowman is on the 3rd step of the podium.
Yeah, he's in a good spot. This is definitely the best spot he's been in all night for sure. We're going to have safety car for sure for the rest of this lap and potentially one more lap as well. Taking a look at this, has there been any driver that you've seen tonight that's been a serious standout? And has there been any that you feel like has been, for lack of a better term, a letdown?
Not going to lie, I'm a little bit disappointed with Marcus so far.
Yeah.
I was expecting bigger things. He came with much hype after that dominant season he had in Tier 2. He's obviously done a very quick lap in time trials on this track in particular. But he's not managed to make any ground whatsoever in the first 10 laps of this race before that safety car. So I'm a little bit disappointed in him. I'm really pleased for Aston Barr that medium strategy paid off and that he's made up some positions, got himself on those hard tyre now, on that hard tyre now that's going to go certainly to the end of this race and may well have a distinct advantage from lap 24 onwards over the guys on the medium tyre. So I'm pleased for him. Bop seems to be doing very well. Just having a quick look through Boss Cookie, Wolfer, those guys who were rookies.
Unlucky, man.
Yeah, I possibly expected a little bit more from them. But again, if you're going to get collected in incidents, then we'll wait and see. It's only round 1.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, one person obviously who's been really impressive for me, honestly, is DeFi. I mean, I've known him to be good. Don't get me wrong. When he came in, and he got that full-time seat last season, I expected him to be pretty solid. I hyped him up quite a bit when we went into Tier 1, broadcast. I said, hey, this guy, it's full-time seat, and he's going to be fast. And unfortunately, his last season just didn't quite, materialize into anything super spectacular. But so far, he's looking to right those wrongs, and he's doing a really good job at it. Currently sitting in provisional first after pit stops. Now, he's going to have to make those mediums last a long time. And without an extra safety car, it's going to be tough.
It is. Yellow said he can't wait to get punted into turn 1. I know somebody who knows how that feels, by the way, not too far away from me.
Oh, yeah. I wonder who that could be. That's crazy.
Who that is.
Somebody. That's a wild.
Sketchy Bull immediately wants to go to Tier 2.
Yes, he does.
And Andy says that Marcus is actually on no assist.
Yes, he is.
So that we should be impressed. And I don't know whether he was on no assist in Tier 2 2 seasons ago, but
he was. Yeah, he's always been no assist. One thing crazy about Marcus Lipson, I will give him a lot of credit for this. He does have a lot of real racing experience. He does a lot of track days and autocross and some other bigger stuff. So it's kind of like where his love for it in the first part came from. And that has kind of mentally forced him to always be a no assist driver. He just really wants to be as raw as possible when it comes to his pace. And so he's never touched an assist in this game since day 1.
Wow. I mean, I take my hats off to anybody who runs no assist. I tried it. This was the first track I tried it on, actually.
Was it really? You insane person. You absolute insane person.
My lord. Do you know what? Most of it was fine, apart from the hairpin.
That's fair. That hairpin, the breaking point for it, is so elusive. Especially because everybody likes to break that breaking point. Yeah,
I was doing pirouettes.
The exit out of it is what's especially difficult too, because if you don't have good rear downforce, it will be that pirouette session. You're right. Now, obviously,
sure.
all these drivers are about to get back and go racing. We've got one retirement so far at Xylo at no fault of his own. Nobody retired by crash yet so far, but we still got 17 laps to go. Anything can happen. We shall see if that continues. MV1W will restart our grid here tonight, and how slow will he go? Looks like he's keeping a pretty modest pace, actually. He's not trying to go too slow, which I'm surprised. I think he should be really slowing this thing down. He's keeping it decently quick, so that allows all the drivers behind him to get their tires warmed up. Master Turtle, though, wants none of it. He says, no. Let me get up right next to you. Go ahead and take a look for the full screen view. He's right up on him. He wants to
Safety car is in.
That it is. And wow, it's a quick launch from MVW. That caught people off guard for sure. MVW already off the line, running for it. And a Master Turtle gets a decent exit. Oh, but a bit of a mistake right there. That's going to see Yellow Snowman looking and licking his chops. He finds a spot. DeFi, though, going to try to make it maybe 2. Does he go through the middle?
Oh my
DeFi
God.
thought about it, but he decided against it. Looks for an inside line. Doesn't have it. He sticks back, and he decides to relegate. Stays behind. Smart move from DeFi. Good smart racing. He knows he's in a really good opposition, position to win this race if he plays it smart. But as of right now, he's playing aggressive. He gets on the inside of Yellow Snowman. Grabs it. And Yellow Snowman now under pressure from Giants fan. He's going to be under pressure from Estenbach going into the double right-hander. It's going to be tight. Yellow Snowman might have to give it up. He does have to give it up. And he locks Marcus Libs behind him. Marcus Libs had nowhere to go. And he just
3
had to
seconds
stay.
for DeFi.
Oh, no. DeFi, who in my opinion was the favorite as of this point to win this race, now has a 3-second time penalty to contend with. That's going to be difficult. Marcus Libs takes it on the outside. Yeah.
The grip difference on these medium tires is insane. Even just coming around the last corner at the start of the restart of the safety car, it was insane.
Yeah. And the hard part, too, I will say this thing. Since you mentioned the grip difference, as soon as you switch over to a significantly grippier tire like this, it makes you drive differently. Like, you have to turn in later. You have to make, different adjustments as to how you're driving the thing. And it can make a track like this with very thin margin, especially difficult to avoid those time penalties. There goes Dougie Falcons potentially on the outside in the penultimate corner. No, he didn't. How did Dougie Falcons stick that? Around the outside of Yellow Snowman, he does. And he is through. And that's going to be an outside line from Bops, potentially on the outside through the final corner. That is done and dusted from Bops. Again, how do these guys stick? I don't get this, dude. How do they stick these lines? I'll never know. But they find a way. DeFi now losing a position to Giants fan. Fair and square. Master Turtle as well up there. Still fighting it on those old tires. Giants fan, though, moving up. And Estenbach, too.
That was a great move from Giants fan on the inside of Master Turtle going into turn 2.
That was really solid. Now Marcus Libs, though, looks like he's found his pace back. He's looking for a potential spot on the Alfa Romeo ahead of him. The Alfa Romeo gives him all the room in the world. It gets another warning for going wide, but there's a car on the outside of Marcus Libs. It's Snaky who wants to find his way through. Has to give him extra room right there, Marcus Libs does. But Marcus Libs now getting quick on the power. Gets a little bit of a tap right there and pushed him in. Pushed him off track. That's going to be a 3-second time penalty for Marcus Libs after getting pushed off track. I would argue that might be something he can get removed, but Snaky pushes his way through, and now he's up into 6th with Marcus Libs on a 3-second time penalty. He's going to be wanting to get that one removed for sure.
I think that we're gonna see some interesting levels of patience from these guys now, because there's been, since the safety car restart, we've seen a lot of bumpety.
Yes.
With wheels coming together, guys trying to get past.
Big time. And speaking of bumpety, Dougie Falcons has been one that's been pretty aggressive on this restart. DeFi has to pit. No, DeFi must have had a broken wing. I'm almost certain he does. So DeFi going in on 4-lap old mediums. That could have taken him to the end. His race is gone right there. That's going to be really hard for him to recover. The two Red Bulls of Estenbach and Snaky right next to each other, swapping positions. Snaky up in the front of them. Estenbach sits behind in 5th. The two guys that have stayed out since the start, it's MV1 and Master Turtle. They're holding off pretty strong, but Snaky wants to have none of it. He's trying to get around the outside of Master Turtle, going into the double right-hander. I don't know if he's going to stick it, though. Just kidding. I totally lied to you. He stuck it before the corner. How does he do that?
Absolutely stuck that. Wow. Giants fan now out in front, of course.
Yo, yeah. He's killing it.
Snaky trying to get past MV1.
Think he might have the inside line? MV1, once again, he makes a little bit of a mistake into that hairpin, and MV1, just gets forced to use as much of the inside line as he can just to survive. Marcus Libs right behind you. You can see him. He's fighting for it. He's sitting in 4th, just barely in front of Master Turtle. So now it's Marcus Libs, MV1, Snaky, and Giants fan making out the top 4. The two McLarens reunite, and they haven't been next to each other since the start line. 15 laps, and they finally find each other again. Of course, in a bit of an alternate strategy, as MV1 is definitely going to have to pit pretty soon. I bet you he might give some love, though, to his teammate of the night, Marcus Libs. So everyone looks like he's going to go ahead and give him that. He's going to give him that right there.
and dive into the pits. So into the pits comes MV1. He's released Marcus then. So Marcus 8/10 behind, does have that 3 seconds with the penalties. He is quick down this long straight, down to 5/10, 4/10.
Oh my gosh.
3/10,
that
down
DRS
to turn 1.
That DRS advantage is absurd here. That's so silly. But I think he might be running slightly lower downforce than Snaky, and that might be why he seems to be losing time in these corners and like basically the rest of the track besides the triple right-hander and that straightaway. This is crazy. Giants fan, though, right now dominating. He's got a pretty commanding lead, over 1 second, of a lead. This looks like it could be a Giants fan opening round win, assuming no more chaos.
Well, we are over halfway through the race.
It's true.
So not too long to go, but 1.2 seconds is nothing. With one mistake.
That's right.
2/10, you're back in DRS.
Oh,
yellow flags. Yellow flags. We've got an Alpha Tauri off in Sector 2.
Boss Cookie.
It's Boss Cookie.
That's rough. I bet you he just made a little bit of a mistake. It could have also been a bit of a tap to come out there, but never know. Now, when it looks at the trains that we've got a pod of 2nd all the way down to 9th, and we've got a pod of 10th down to 14th. So a couple little pods of hardcore racing. Marcus Lib's now going to have the insane overspeed advantage. DRS flap is open, and he flies down the main straight. The Red Bull just gets out of the way. He's like, all right, go ahead. Take this one. I can't do a thing about this. Snaky lets him through, but the other Red Bull of Estenbot gets held up behind his teammate. It's a bit of an interesting moment right there. I'm curious if they're going to prioritize each other. Do you see them prioritizing each other potentially? Ooh, Boss Cookie retires in the pits.
Oh, yeah, he's gone. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm looking at the two Red Bulls. I think they're in a really strong position to pick up some good points today.
Yeah.
No penalties. No penalties for those guys.
That's a good point. As of right now, they look
everyone
like
else around them.
Yeah,
everyone else around them's got penalties, obviously apart from Giants fans. So that's the kick of a Giants fan. He's got no penalties. So that he's now almost Marcus Libs is almost back into DRS range. So I think we might still have a battle on our hands here.
That's correct. Yeah, I think right now Snaky is actually losing a lot of pace as well. So Snaky, more than a second out. Marcus Libs is now within a second of Giants fan. Marcus is picking up the pace as of right now. What's going on, dude? He found something in this second stint. Those mediums slap on. He turns into a different animal. He's catching time every single corner so far. And as he comes around the penultimate corner, it's no exception. Gets 5/10 or 5/100 of a second out of that one. Into the final corner. Gaining even more time. Now, what's he got on the energy is what I'm curious about.
30%.
30%. Good to know. So, yeah, when it comes
not using it.
No, not really. And Giants fan is sitting pretty as well. That could be a move right here. Nope. Look at Marcus. He lifted right there.
Yeah,
he literally just lifted. He said, this is not even worth it for me. I'm going to stay behind. Midnight Killer in the chat says, I have a feeling Marcus might be making a late move for P1. And that could be the play right here. Now, I think Marcus Libs will know that he was pushed off the track, and so he might be able to get that time penalty removed. So long as he keeps it clean. If he gets any more warnings, he won't, of course, right? But he's got to be careful.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely had one warning before that.
Correct. But it's a question of if he doesn't get any more warnings, and it was just that one warning that constituted the 3 second, he may be able to get it removed, in which case he's really in a fight right here. Now,
so Esteban's taken P3 from Snaky as well, by the way.
Smart. I think that's a smart move to do. I think he needed to release him. Snaky seems a little bit slow right here. So yeah, Esteban needs to fly for sure.
Yeah.
This tire advantage, though, at the very back end of the race, what do you think it's going to do for Esteban? I mean, do you think he's going to find a way to pass both the guys in front of him?
I think he's going to be a little bit quicker, isn't he? And we've got 11 laps left to go. So 19 lap-old mediums versus 19 lap-old hards. There will be a significant difference. I don't know how much that's going to make Marcus and Giants fan and everybody underneath Esteban really kind of just try and push hard or try and lift up and try and conserve some of those tires.
That's correct. There goes Marcus Libs, and he passes for the lead.
There he goes.
And it's clean pass, too. Didn't have to work for it hard at all. So he's up there. Giants fans just going to kind of hold on. I wonder, though, how much lower of a downforce setup Marcus Libs is running, because this seems exceptionally fast. He's really on it, though, when it comes to his lines. Like, look at the way that he takes this track. I don't think I've seen somebody use this much track so properly. So far, look at the way that he gets on the far outside right there. He got an extra 6 or 7 feet to the right side getting over the curb without getting a time, without getting a warning. He just knows how to maximize the track. And look at the late apex that he takes for that corner. Gets crazy exit speed. That's what he's doing. He just has the ability to maximize the track more than I think anybody I've seen, at least for sure in this Tier 1 grid. For
sure. I mean, he's already picked up 7/10 on Giants Fan throughout the course of from turn 1 to turn whatever we're on.
And Esteban's catching up to Giants Fan too, so it's not even just the fact that Marcus is the only one who's quick and Giants Fan's losing it all the way. I think there are other people who are also matching that pace. It seems like Esteban's basically on that same pace, just barely off of it. And he might be able to get a potential move soon. Marcus Lips has gone in.
Into the pits. Into the pits goes Marcus. That's an interesting strategy right there.
Yeah. Very interesting. Is he going to take softs? He's forecasting that those are going to die off.
Esteban takes the lead of the race.
Marcus Lips grabs fresh mediums. Interesting strats. I don't know if I believe in this one, but he seems to be very confident that his pace is that much better than everybody else. How long is his pit stop? 30 seconds?
It's not a slow one, I know.
No.
It is a... I'm sure I lost about 28 seconds.
Yep. Yeah, I believe it's 30 seconds. So it looks like Marcus Lips now comes out in 14th. He's got to fly. Esteban is leading the race. Yeah, you're right. Looks good. Really looks good for him. I don't know about that strategy call for Marcus Lips. I think he had the opportunity to stay out. All the rest of these guys ahead of him are going to be staying out, and Marcus now has to chop, and that's going to be a really hard task.
Yeah, we just need to keep our eye on that gap between him and his teammate now, MV1. Yellow Snowman. Obviously, he's going to dip into the pits again, probably this lap to throw some softs on.
Yeah, I will say, you actually can technically take the hards to the very end. Technically. You could take it 28 laps. It's been done.
Yeah, Yellow Snowman can't because he's not... he's not pitted yet.
That's facts. Oh, wait, he hasn't pitted at all?
No.
Oh, well, then yeah, he's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to at least take the Alex Albon route and, wait till one last lap. But yeah, I don't see Marcus Lips catching that much time. 20 seconds over 10 laps. He has to have 2 seconds lap on the guys ahead. That's a bit too much of an ask, in my opinion. Or he has to wait for that safety car, and that safety car has to come out at just the right time for him. It could pop. It could happen. But again, if that safety car comes out at any point now, everyone's going to drop in for softs. So Marcus, I just don't think he realized that nobody was going to pit. MV1 does make a pass on Yellow Snowman going into turn 1, so that's done. But at the top, it's Esteban, Giants Fan, and Snake. He's still giving the good old tussle, and Esteban looks poised to win.
Yeah, he's in good shape. He's going to have better tires, you'd think.
Yeah.
From round about lap 24, 25 onwards.
Yeah, he looks pretty good so far. I think Esteban, give it 2 more laps. He's going to start gapping out like crazy. Look at that. Even that exit right there coming out of that corner. All these guys in mediums are starting to run about that 25 to 30% wear point right now. They're starting to scream. For sure. Even more than that, probably. They could be at like 40% by now almost. Depending on how hard they have been on their tires. So Giants Fan losing out this much time through Sector 3 is a very good indication that Esteban is on the ultimate strategy for sure.
Mistake from Dougie, who does indeed dive into the pits. He's had enough of those medium tires as Bops takes P4.
I don't know.
We're going to see Dougie throw the soft tire on.
He has to.
Check on penalties here.
Yeah, everyone's got penalties. So many.
Yeah, there's lots of penalties kicking around. Magical forehead. There's a bit of a gap between Snakey and Bops. Maybe that...
Was what prompted him? Could be.
Oh, no, there we go. Bops 1.1 seconds back. Maybe he's... he's got a 3-second penalty, so that's him cooked.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of these guys running on 3. Sketchable has 6. DeFi has 6, and Stig has 9. DeFi, who was once leading the race, is now down in 17th place. Really tough spot. Marcus Lips barely even holding on to catch up to points right now. He's got to really fly to catch even points at this point. And for a second, he was potentially challenging for a win. I just don't agree. I think he had a lot of faith in himself to be 2 seconds a lap faster. But that is a serious, that's a serious to ask. When he was already running 23s to start putting in 21s. For 10 laps straight, it's just absurd. I don't see anybody doing that with this much fuel. There's no way.
Yellow Snowman's eventually come in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Marcus Libs on the back of his teammate, but the teammate MV1 is 6.2 seconds behind to Trappy, who's in P10 on 13 lap old hard tires.
Yep.
With no penalties.
Correct. Yeah, he's in a good spot.
3 seconds on that.
Yep, he's in a really good spot, Trappy is. Now, at the very front, we got Esteban, Giants fan, and Snakey still all she wrote. Now, of course, it looks like Esteban has been holding off a pretty solid gap. Giants fan, they catch up so much during the DRS zone, but then they lose all those, 4 or 5 tenths they catch during the DRS zone throughout the rest of the track. So it's pretty interesting how it's like clockwork. They lose that time, especially through Sector 3 is where they really lose it. The exit here out of the hairpin seems to be pretty consistent for everybody. But, watch right here. It's 7.5, almost 8 tenths separating Giants fan and Esteban. It's about to get even bigger. Yeah, he's in a bad way. Esteban looks really, really good to take this win right here on a strategy gamble starting on mediums. Sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Giants fans running that 50 front wing, 44 rear wing if he's utilizing his time trial setup.
Yeah. Oh, you analyzed that, huh?
I did have a look a little bit earlier on when I was trying to find a setup for myself, and it seems a lot of the front runners. I looked at a lot of setups, and everybody was running 50-44. It was just variance on suspension geometry.
Yeah, it's a good wing setup. I personally run a 50-43. Yeah. But I feel like if I had more confidence in myself, my abilities, I probably could have ran a 44. Yeah, these guys. Oh, did we see Snakey?
Snakey's so close to the back of Giants fan there. Almost contact, but lifted just in time.
Okay. Snakey, do you remember last season? He was a little bit incident prone. Do we see him finding the rear end of that Williams again and starting the season off on a bad foot? Or do you think he's going to keep it clean and just take the podium and say, all right, even if I can't get him, at least it's third?
I'm going to give this guy props and say, you know what? Sometimes when we make mistakes out on track, we do learn from our mistakes. Let's give Snakey some props right now.
I agree.
And suggest that he's learned. He looks a little bit more patient. He could have made a silly move a few corners ago and didn't. Held back, lifted off, didn't collect the back of the Williams. And with 24 of 29 laps almost complete, looks to be in good shape to pick up a podium.
That he does. Now, as of right now, look at Giants fan. He's losing little bits of time every single corner as they go through Sector 3. He needs to find a little bit more time coming out of the penultimate corner. He just gets enough to be able to grab DRS. He still survives. But, I mean, for how long? Can he hold on? Snakey, you're right. He's learned a lot when it comes to his racecraft. He's gotten significantly better. And as soon as Giants fan loses DRS, if he does, I think it's game over. I think Snakey grabs that position and will run away with it. He seems faster in the corners.
Yeah, he does. He does. I mean, on the straight there with DRS, he got it back up to 5 tenths, but immediately after turns 1 and 2, it's almost at 7.
Yeah, it is at 7 already. There it is. I saw the 7 flash for a second. That's crazy, man. Yeah, like that the downforce differential. Yeah, as soon as you lose out on that DRS, it's just the level of grip that those hards have right now. They are in an optimal spot right now to keep on going and keep looking solid. Right now, the Red Bull team looks definitely the strongest, followed, I would say, by the Williams, of course. The rest of the top 10 have no dual teams in there, except for Ferrari, actually. They have 2 drivers, Magical Forehead and WP2 Trappy. Now, Magical Forehead, he is sitting in 6th right now with no penalties. He's right up on them. And so right now, he is looking to inherit 4th over Bobson R. Wolfer.
And again, Magical Forehead was a guy I was really impressed with at the start of Season 8 in the rookie races.
Yes.
I don't think it quite came together for him in the actual season itself.
Yeah, he was leading, but he ended up getting wheel issues towards the end of the season. Yep.
That'll do it.
Yeah,
that'll do it to you.
I think he's gotten back, though. Looks like he's fine now.
Yeah, he's not on controller tonight.
No, definitely not. Look at that pace. He's insane. Speaking of somebody who was on controller, did you know that Scornsy all season last season ended up going on controller?
Really?
Yeah, because he had his wheel break after the first race. Yeah, he still killed it. But tonight he got filled in by MV1, who is now sitting in 12th. Marcus Libs has caught up to MB2 Trappy and has gotten past MB2 Trappy, so that's a pretty easy pass for Marcus Libs right there. Just breezes on through down the start-finish line. And again, though, I mean,
not in the points yet.
Yeah, it's a question of what if.
He's got to get that 3-second gap. He's got to get that 3-second gap over Trappy. I think he should do it, to be fair. 17 lap old hards versus 6 lap old mediums. I think he'll gap him by 3 seconds.
I think so too. Just a question of what if, man. You know, what if he wouldn't have made that decision to pit? Where do you think he would be right now? Do you think he'd be fighting for that win?
I think he'd still be up top there.
I think so too.
You know, maybe Esteban would have had advantage in terms of tight compound this late in the race, but I think he would have sure been taking a step to the podium to spray some champagne.
I think so too. I think he definitely could have been out there. And again, especially if he ends up getting that penalty removed, then yeah, it'd be pretty easy pickings for him, in my opinion, at the very top of this grid. However, right now, the three drivers we've been talking about for quite a bit of time, Esteban, Giants Fan, and Snaky, look like the ones poised to take that champagne. Of course, Magic Forehead still sitting strong just behind the two drivers of R. Wolfer and Bops, who have the penalties. Behind that, we got Minico, Don't Blink in 8th, Sketchable in 9th, and Marcus Subs obviously sitting in 10th. 1.5 seconds ahead of the guy behind, who needs to get farther than for the ability to cover off that penalty. Sketchable, though, rocking 9 seconds. So, as of right now, he's got a free position off of him.
Just had a quick check on the ERS situation here as we enter. We're on lap 27 of 29. Not a lot of ERS in the top 5. However, Magical Forehead has got 90% ERS. 90.
Excuse me?
90. 90% ERS. 92. Keep going up. 94,
He's
95.
cranking. So he's trying to charge up. Do you think he's going to make an actual charge for the podium itself over the next few laps?
He's going to make a charge.
He's got to do it now. He's got to say, hey, this is the time.
Has to be start of lap, end of lap 27, start of lap 28.
Yeah. I mean, he'll have the battery to pass it. I don't think R. Wolfer expects it to. I bet you right now R. Wolfer's just sitting there, just kind of like having a good time. He's like, I've got points, good to go for me. I'm chilling. Yeah. And out of nowhere, he's just going to get smoked down the straight if Magic Forehead decides to dump it up, which I think he should. However, R. Wolfer is rocking on 6.
I mean, he is now, so Snaky's now 1 second behind Giants Fan. So Snaky's lost DRS as well. So that could really put the cat amongst the pigeons.
Yep.
Here we go then. There it goes. The battery is on.
Yep. You
DRS,
can see
wing wide open.
Wolfer has none too. Wolfer's blinking. Oh my gosh. Hold on a second. Look at this. He's got crazy overspeed.
Oh my days.
He had to stop. But had he gotten on that just a little bit earlier, he could have gotten Snaky already.
I was thinking we might have seen a double or triple move there.
Yeah, that was tight. Now we got Snaky, Bops, and Magic Forehead in a little bit of a tussle. Magic Forehead obviously looking like the one with the most advantage out of the three of them. Bops 1.2 seconds away from the top guy, but it's Giants Fan and Esteban fighting for a win right now at the very front end. The sharp end of this race is as exciting as it possibly could be. Esteban and Magical Forehead, Esteban and Giants Fan are going to battle out for glory on these final couple laps. The tire advantage is obviously in Esteban's court. However, it could be swayed by better management or better lines from the Williams driver. Behind that, we got Magic Forehead. Again, like I mentioned, he's catching up to Snaky like crazy. Snaky blinking. What's he on at ERS? Do you know?
He's on 3%, my friend.
Yep, the straightaway's done for.
3 versus 65.
Yeah, I think Magic Forehead has just been kind of sizing himself up. He says, you know, I could have had a 4th on penalties, but I'm just going to wait this thing out. And he should be getting 3rd right here if he does this right. Now, the leaders are about to come across the final corner. They just did. They're going to come across the final, the start-finish line and start the final lap. There goes the ERS. It's open. It's done. Look at this overspeed. That's silly, dude. Snaky is a sitting duck, man. There's no chance to defend that one. And even if he breaks late right here, no way. No way. Magic Forehead cruises on through, and he's right behind Bops too, so he might be able to get some extra drag, reduction just from the draft, and speed even farther away. Oh, Giants Fan though. Do you think he's going to try for it? Where do you think he's got a spot right here on Esteban? I don't think he's got a chance, does he?
I don't think there's a shot. I don't think there's a shot here.
No.
That 6.5/6 gap.
Yep. It's
back end of sector 2. Put himself in a good spot through the 3 good right-handers.
I mean, even
to
then,
make a move down the inside. Ooh, I don't know.
Those 3 right-handers, it seems to be every single time Esteban's, layer. Like right here is where it starts to become Esteban's lap, like more than anything else. Again, look at that. He just lost almost 2 tenths in one corner. Yeah. And these triple right-handers, no way he has the speed on him. It's almost certainly going to be Esteban to grab the win tonight. This is crazy. After starting nowhere near pole position, Esteban has found himself 9 positions up from 10th place at the start of this race, and it looks like he's going to win this thing. Esteban will come home a victor here for the very first race of Moose Racing League Season 9 Tier 1. He wins it here in Qatar. Congratulations to Esteban. Absolutely exceptional drive. Giants fan to second. Bobs will come across the line on, not even on third on track. Magical forehead gets him by a hair right as they come across the line. So Bobs goes down to 5th, Snaky to 4th, Minico to 6th, Wolfer to 7th, and Marcus Lids will take home 8th with Blink in 9th, and Double A's coming up in 10th. He'll get a free one off of Blink, and Double A's grabs a point or 2. He gets 2. Bops thinks he's going to get his penalty removed. Oh, he thinks. And if Marcus Libs gets his penalty removed as well, it's actually not going to make any difference. He'd still be 1.5 behind our Wolfer. Marcus Libs lost it out off of a bad strategy call. Estenba, great racing from him. Phenomenal job. Behind the top 10, we got Trappy, Dougie Falcons, Master Turtle, Sketchy Bull, MV1 DNFing. Actually, no, he crossed line. Just kidding. He crossed line. DeFi in 16th after starting so high up. In pole position, may I also add. Stig in 17th. And Yellow Snowman, though he did grab the fastest lap of the race, will come home in the back. Wow. Sketchy Bull says his mediums went to 90%.
What?
That's unbelievable, dude. That is unbelievable.
90%.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't think anybody had that bet on Esteban tonight. That's incredible. That just drive was a whole nother level, dude.
Yeah, and that was on the strat call.
Yeah,
that's those tires just being better. So Giants fan, for raw pace, Giants fan probably quicker, but just managed to manage the gap.
Mm-hmm.
With
the
those,
big brains
with those hard tires.
Yeah,
really impressed with Magical Forehead.
Me too. Yeah, he did a great job. Yeah, at the very end, the way that he, did that strategy as well to save all that energy to the very last 2 laps and just charge through 3 people out of nowhere was incredible. That was sweet. But it's a very well-deserved win for Mr. Esteban, grabbing the first win of the season. Of course, Giants fan comes home in second, and the Ferrari of that's insane, dude. The Ferrari of Magic Forehead grabs third out of nowhere. Snaky to 4th, Bops to 5th after losing 3 seconds of time penalties, but he thinks he's going to get it removed, which will put him 3 seconds behind, and just barely behind Magical Forehead, but only by a hair. Then, of course, Minico behind that, Wolfer behind that, Marcus Libs in 8th, Double A's in 9th, and Blink rounding out our top 10 and all of our points finishers. The driver of the day, according to the game, was Snaky from 16th to 4th. That's absurdity, but I'm going to give it to Esteban, in my opinion. I think he did. I think he had the right to the driver of the day. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. The pace that he had to get himself out in front of Giants fan, and then obviously maintain the gap. Giants fan was in DRS, but just couldn't make anything happen.
Yes.
Around the rest of the track.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Now, would you be able to go ahead and ping Esteban, Giants fan, and Magical Forehead to jump in the interview box? That'd be wonderful. It looks like Esteban's unable to interview. Well, you know what, Esteban? I don't think words could do your drive justice, man. That was absolutely exceptional. Congratulations on your race win for the first race here of the season. That's a way to start it. I mean, it's quite a dominant way to start the season, that's for sure. So congrats to that, man. That's pretty mega. Let's go ahead and get maybe potentially Giants fan or Magical Forehead. I know Giants fan's always good for an interview. He's always good for one. Let's see if we can get these guys in. For those guys that got a chance to watch, I hope you guys had a phenomenal night watching this tier. It was absolutely exceptional racing. Some craziness for sure. And did we have just one safety car, Andy? Or do we have 2?
Do you know what? We only had the one. I think. Did we have one or did we have 2?
I think we had 2. I think we had a second one. If I recall correctly.
One.
There was one I know from what's it called? From Double A's losing his wing. That was the first one. There was a second one that I remember going extra long. Yes, there was 2. So Andy, you have won or over under.
Marvelous. I shall definitely utilize my my moose books.
What an over under to win, dude. Of all of them, and just by 1. It's incredible. Snaky gets in the chat. He says, "Insane." I agree, Snaky. That was absolutely absurd. Like the way that race worked out was so crazy for everybody. It was great racing all the way across the line. You did an amazing job, man. Way to grab that finish for yourself. That was exceptional. It was just the penalties, man. That was it. Magical Forehead, though, just a whole nother level. Looks like Bops may be not getting that penalty removed because it looks like he forgot to screenshot the race director. So Bops
Yikes.
may.
Who do you want in? Giants or Magic?
Let's go ahead and grab a Giants fan or Magic Forehead in here. Let's do it.
Magical Forehead, yeah?
Yes.
MRL Media Box 1.
Speaking of Magic
Bringing him over.
Oh,
no,
looks
it
like
won't bring him over.
He just kicked him out. Okay. It's a silly glitch where you have to bring him in twice. Have him reconnect to the box. It's funny that we say Magical Forehead right now because of the way the camera boxes are. We can only see your Magical Forehead with the way that you're.
Yes, you can. How incredible.
Technically, we do have Magical Forehead if you think about it. It's just right below me. If you want to get Giants fan in here while we wait for him to come back, that can work. Let's see if we can get either of them in here. Stig says, "I am so out of it. That was rough." Yeah, it was. He looked a little bit rough for tier 1 for sure. After winning tier 2 in a pretty solid fashion, to come up to tier 1 with all these new guys, it's pretty rough. But we do have Magical Forehead in here. Mr. Forehead, how is it going? Congratulations on that late race masterclass to grab 3 positions in 2 laps, and he's gone again. I hope he's doing.
That was
good.
going so well.
It was going great, just like his race was. That's so funny. Giving him all the love.
He's in the waiting room again. We'll give him one more go. One more go.
Let's try it out.
Come back.
Hey, are you there?
There he is. There he is.
Oh, hello.
Hey, yes,
Okay.
we got it.
So you're late race masterclass?
Yeah, late race masterclass. Absolutely unbelievable way to finish. When we were looking at the time penalties, we're like, oh, Magical Forehead's going to get 4th. But I don't know if it was you, Andy, or me who said, let's take a look at his ERS. I think it was you, Andy. You're like, let's take a look at his ERS because the guy in front of him has like 3%. And then we look back at you and you're at 90, 91, 92, just climbing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a push. So you weren't satisfied with the penalty 4th place. How did you know, and at what point did you know that you had a really good chance at grabbing 3rd?
I think it was as soon as I passed R. Wolfer, he made a mistake in the last corner, and then I saw Snakey and Bops ahead of me. They were both flashing, and I had like 70%. So I knew I just had to bide my time and pass them on a straight, and I could get 3rd.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say grabbing 3rd was all about just those passes right there. Snakey, did he have the penalty already? He did, didn't he?
I
No,
think
he
Bops had
did
the
not.
time second, but Snakey didn't. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, but you ended up just getting him just straight up. Yeah, that was so impressive,
Yeah.
man. That was phenomenal. And the way that you charged through that was quite impressive. Were you at all worried that could have maybe ended in some disaster for the last few laps, or did you have a lot of faith that like, no, this will go well, I got this one?
I kind of knew I could at least get a top 5 because R. Wolfer and Bops ahead of me both had time pens and I didn't.
Yeah.
So I knew I could just like bide my time. But then when I saw Snakey didn't have a time pen, I knew I had to pass him on track. And
Yeah.
that's what I was able to do, and I got a podium because of it.
Yeah, that was a great finish to the race, man. Like honestly, your pace throughout the entire race was phenomenal. You kept it pretty clean. Your quality was definitely above average, but it wasn't like this crazy exceptional quality either. So for you to just stay stuck in and committed was so impressive. And the general just like racecraft throughout the entire session was phenomenal. I did notice though, Marcus Libs made a pretty big strategy blunder, and when that happened, did you notice that, or did that not really cross your mind when it happened? Did you think maybe to do the same?
Yeah, I noticed that like at the start of the safety car restart, I thought it was either like front wing damage or something because like 4 people went into the pits. I was like 3 position. I had no idea what I was going on, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it, right? Yeah, it was a bit of an awkward call. Andy, I'm guessing you have some stuff to ask him too.
Yeah, for me, I just wanted to say congratulations on a great drive. I couldn't believe what I was seeing when I was flicking through the ERS levels. I was like, something's going to go down here pretty quick because 90% with 2 laps to go, we knew at the end of lap 27, start of lap 28, you were going to push the button and start to make some moves. In terms of your strategy call for the race, did everything go according to plan, even though we had a couple of safety cars?
I mean, I started on the hards, and as soon as I saw the safety car early, I knew I was gonna pit then. I was thinking of doing a big undercut because I was that last guy in that 13 car DRS train at the start of the race, and I wanted some track position, but then the safety car came out, so the strategy didn't really matter because everyone just went on the mediums.
Yep, except for the race winner, Estenbach, because he was on the mediums. He took him long to start
Oh,
out
he
with.
went to hards. Oh,
He got that's what
nice
won in
for
the
him.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we're like Andy and I were both talking about like we think that's what won in the race because Giants fan probably had the pace on him a little bit, and you probably did too. But the strategy, dude, just gave him that W for sure. And sometimes that's what does it.
Yeah.
So you know what?
Yeah,
That's
for
good
sure.
racing. Well, man, thank you so much for jumping in here. Phenomenal race again. Congratulations on that great finish, and I'm excited to see what you got for the rest of us for the rest of the season. I'm sure we got more good results. It's redemption.
thanks,
it's a
man.
redemption
Appreciate
arc
it.
from last season, isn't it?
Yes,
Yes, it is. I know.
Back, baby.
Absolutely, the wheel's back, and it's better than ever. Good luck this season, my man. Thanks again
Oh,
for
yeah.
jumping in here.
Good luck, mate.
Yeah. Thank
We'll
you
see
for
you later.
interviewing me.
See ya.
See ya.
Well, it looks like we'll be able to grab a Giants fan, and then we'll call it a night. It looks like Stig says he's not stoked for the rest of these races as well. Giants fan have the same glitch.
Yeah.
Hooray for Discord. Don't we love Discord? Been doing this a little bit. Oh, there he is. Giants fan. Hello. Hello. How are you doing?
I'm tired, and
Yeah, I can imagine.
I took like probably 10 years off of my life doing those final 2 laps over 75% on the left front.
You were
So,
75%
other
on
than
the
that, we're
left
doing
front.
great. I finished at like 83, I think.
Wow.
And
Brother.
it hit 75 on the second to last lap, and I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be a interesting last lap.
Excuse me, that is in serious puncture danger. At what point did
Yeah, I
you
know.
did you ever think that like it was genuinely possible, or were you pretty confident like, nah, this will last?
The entire run, I was like, this isn't gonna end well, but we're gonna do it and hope for the best.
That's
I
incredible.
was,
I will
I was
say,
like watching the tire go up, and
Yeah.
like it was going up like 5% a lap.
oh,
And so I was like it took me like a lap or two to do the math in my head. And I was like, oh, this math thing ended up right. So
Yeah.
let's hope for the best.
what was crazy to me was the fact that even though you were on a tire disadvantage to Esteban, you were still able to keep up pretty significantly. And I can't tell if that was just straight up raw pace, or do you think he was not pushing super hard, or like I just don't know how you can keep those mediums in such an optimal level that even though they have almost no grip left, you're still able to extract all that little bit of whatever that basically none left is. Like, what were you doing that you think was able to keep you so close to the edge but still so planted?
At this track, a lot of it's about the toe. So as long as you're in the DRS, you can really kind of drop your pace off a bit and stay in it. But I mean, I was just kind of lifting going into corners, just kind of trying to manage that left front as best as I could.
Yeah.
And he almost got away from me a couple times, but the key is just hanging on to DRS, because
Yep.
if you have that, you're golden.
Yeah, I've
And
noticed
he
that.
almost had me a couple times in the third sector, but I had
Yeah.
enough battery to get
That was
myself
actually-
back up there.
That was actually something I wanted to mention. That third sector, weirdly enough for this track, if you're on equal tire, levels, and you're the trailing car, you actually gain time through the third sector compared to the leading car almost always. The draft actually works in your favor, which is crazy because you're going through high-speed corners. It seems backwards, but it seems to work out every single time. But you were not having that happen. You were losing all your time in that third sector. Knowing that difference of this track, is there, did that ever play into your mind? Like, what the heck is he doing? Or were you just, like, praying that you had enough ERS at the very end of that third sector to just keep holding on?
I think what he was doing, so that straightaway before those 3 straight right-handers, right when the sector crosses over, he was dumping battery through there, and I think through the first or second kink. And so because he was trying to get out of my DRS.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what was happening, because I would see his light start flashing, because I knew he didn't obviously have a lot of battery left.
Yeah.
Neither did I, and so for me, it was just trying to match that deployment and stay in that DRS, and thankfully I was able to do it, and almost had a shot at the win there, but I just didn't have enough tire
tight.
at the end to get it done.
Yeah.
For sure.
Now, Andy, I'm sure you have a couple questions for him as well.
Yeah, again, Giants, congratulations on a good race and yet another podium here in Moose Racing. If you could do it all again, would you change any kind of strategy and start on the medium and finish on the hard? Because me and Punjew were talking about that was probably, at the end of the day, what's probably won Esteban that race, having that extra little bit in the tyre compound towards the last 4 or 5 laps that just prevented you from catching him.
Yeah. First off, pleasure having you here, Andy. Super pumped about
man,
you
it's
calling
been
Tier 1.
Superb to watch yet again. Just before you answer the question, actually, I just want to say it doesn't always take spectacular crashes to watch a really good race. Watching the
Correct.
racecraft and being able to call that race with the racecraft and the different strategies and the way people were driving was an absolute pleasure. You were obviously at the forefront of all that stuff with your battle out front with Esteban. So yeah, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, thank you. But to answer your question, yeah, I definitely start on mediums off the bat. But I mean, you obviously never know when safety cars are going to come out. And like last season, what made me start on the hards was last season. It was Magical Forehead started on the hards, and I started on the mediums. And that's what ultimately I think won him the race.
That's so funny.
Because he just held on to Drix and I for that first stint and just kind of rode around, and then he boxed for those mediums like a lap or two after Drix and I got our hards on. He came right up to us, just flew right by us.
Yep.
So that was kind of like, and obviously there wasn't a safety car in that race, so it worked great for him. But you know, obviously you can never predict the safety cars, and you could just kind of gotta deal with it when it does happen.
Yeah, I think I even said that like if that race would have been a no safety car race, everybody that started on the hards would have been geniuses.
Yeah.
But yeah, the safety car messed it up.
That's how it is sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Next week it is Japan, I believe.
It is.
Yes.
Again, another one of my favorite tracks. How do you feel about Suzuka?
I do love me some Japan, and I'm super pumped that it's finally back on the calendar. It's been, what, 2-3 seasons since we had it?
It's been a while.
So I'm super pumped to go back there. I'm sure these Tier 1 sweats are going to be in pretty stout form for that, too. So we'll have to get plenty of practice in.
Yeah, I imagine. And with the change up this year, this is a very different looking Tier 1 to Season 8. There's been a couple of good showings from some of the rookies. A little bit further on down, some bad luck for some of our more OG guys. What's your thoughts after one race? Who do you think's going to be up towards the upper echelons of this tier?
I expect Marcus to be back up there. He the strategy just didn't work out in his favor for today. Yeah. So I expect him to be back up the front. Screnzy, when he comes back, he'll be a contender. D5, if he can get his race together, he'll be up front. But yeah, no, there's plenty of contenders. Like I don't know what to think of Tier 1. Like there is talent. I mean, you guys probably saw the quali.
It's unbelievable.
It was at one point the top 8 were within a 10th.
So it's unreal, dude. It was absolutely unreal. Especially in qualifying. I was blown away.
Anyone can win this. It's pretty much just about who's going to make the least amount of mistakes, who's going to be the most consistent. That's going to be your fastest guy. Because I don't think there's going to be one guy that just outpaces everyone every single race. So it's going to be a pretty tough fight this season.
It'll be a dogfight.
Exciting fight too.
It's going to be wild. Either way, whatever way you look at it, I think it's going to be a wild Tier 1 season, probably the greatest yet.
Yep. I agree. I definitely agree. It's gonna be pretty nuts. Well, hey man, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. And
no problem.
And again, yeah, great freaking race. It's only more awesome races like this to come. Japan is gonna be phenomenal. I'm not gonna be here next weekend actually, but whoever you end up getting to having here is they're all gonna be blessed to see you guys just battle out like absolute insane people every single week. So yeah, thanks for jumping in here and good luck tonight. No assists. Yes, have fun.
Thank you, sir. Thank you guys for everything you do.
Yes, thank you. We'll see you later, Skater.
Adios.
Well, Andy, that's about the way that we call it. How about that for an opening round? I think it's only going to get better, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, I was just really, really impressed. If I look at some of the messes that we've seen in some of the other tiers, we won't talk about Tier 4 and Tier 5 tonight too much.
No, we're fine.
But just to see the quality, not just in qualifying, but the closeness, the wheel-to-wheel racing that we've just seen over the last 75, 80 minutes was just superb.
And the one thing that I really want to stress too, and I think this is probably the biggest thing about it, I don't know if you pay attention to Twitter a lot. I see you on Twitter quite a bit. And you've probably seen all the things that says like, league racing is so bad, it's always chaotic, right? But I've never really felt that here in Tier 1, especially over the past 3 seasons. And I want to say, I think a lot of it comes down to not just the people that we attract, of course, it's a lot of that, but it's the fact that everybody actually has genuine respect for each other on and off the track. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that's really contributed to this exceptionally good, clean, fair racing that results in just the most fun for everybody. And it's funny how it starts off the track, in my opinion, of just like respecting each other. And so I gotta say, like, a big thank you to all the drivers that do that and make this culture of the league so dang good. I think that just contributes to the exceptional on track, action. So yeah,
it does. I mean, and that, that stems from the majority of the guys have been driving together for a very long time, but also the way that the league is managed. And I think, it's a really good opportunity for us to kind of do a hats off to the management of the league, the stewarding team.
Yes.
The way that we enforce the rule book. That's really important when it comes to league racing and making league racing into something that's a spectacle for good reasons, as opposed to just horrific every week. We have incidents. Of course, we have incidents.
Yeah.
Certainly in some of the lower tiers where the skill gap is a bit bigger between, first and 20th. But, certainly when we're looking at the elite guys have shown tonight, how it's done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree. Well, speaking of who shows how it's done, we got No Assist that comes up right after this. And I want to say to all of our viewers, make sure you guys go jump over. It's phenomenal racing every single week. It's like a dogfight. You think Tier 1's nuts. No Assist is so fun. There's a bunch of battles all across the tier. And so it's full of passing silly mistakes. It's just exceptionally fun. So definitely go give them some love. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching tonight. Seriously, we really appreciate it. And next week, make sure to join us all for Japan. Before we get there, make sure you go over and give some love to the No Assist tier. And during the week as well, we've got Realistic tier on Wednesday and F2 on Friday. So a lot of stuff to look forward to here at Moose Race League. If you haven't smashed the subscribe button, make sure you do. Give us a like on this video as well. And yeah, thanks again for everybody watching. And any closing thoughts before we head out of here?
Nope, I'm all good. Thank you so much, Punjew. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here for the first time. Can't wait till next week.
Oh, yeah. It's only going to get better. Alrighty, Andy. Well, we'll chat you later. And thanks again, everybody, for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
When I seems lost, thoughts lead you astray. Then I cry, then I feel pain.